everybody, it's Ms. Salazar, and welcome to Reading. So, for today, we're going to be talking about compare and contrast. Now, I'm using the same presentation we used in the last class. So, what does it mean to compare? To compare means to find ways that things are the same. So, it's to find things that are similar, things that are the same. That is to compare. Now, when you're contrasting, to contrast is to find ways that things are different. So, if you are looking at two things and you're trying to find how they are different, that is called contrast. But if you're trying to find two things that are similar, what they have in common, then that is compare. So to compare and contrast is to find ways that things are the same and to find ways that things are different. Now, this is a Venn diagram. That is what it's called, a Venn diagram. And it's basically just two big circles, right? And they're joined in the middle. And this Venn diagram helps me to compare and contrast. So you use a Venn diagram when you're comparing and contrasting two things. So you use a Venn diagram when you're trying to find how two things are similar and how two things are different, right? And in the middle of the circle, when you're comparing and contrasting those two things, in the middle, you're going to write the similarities. You're going to write how these two things are the same, what they have in common. Now, in the outer parts of the circle, you're going to write the differences, how they are different from each other. So, on the outer parts of the circle, how they are different from each other. And in the middle, how they are the same, their similarities, what they have in common. A Venn diagram helps you figure out what two things have in common and what they don't. So, a Venn diagram is going to help you compare and contrast. Now, this is your assessment part one. You will use the Venn diagram to compare your family with Camila's family, and you can use my example as a guide. Here, I am comparing my family with Camila's family. And on the outer parts of the circle, I wrote the differences between my family and Camila's family. But in the middle of the circle, I wrote the things that we have in common, the similarities between my family and Camila's family. So the things that we have in common is that our dads are from Puerto Rico. Another thing that we have in common is that we have one brother. Camila has one brother, and I have one brother. Another thing that we have in common is that we help mom cook. So Camila likes to help her mom cook, and I like to do the same. So those are similarities. Those are things that we have in common. But our differences, right, is that I live in Puerto Rico, but Camila, she lives in Miami. Another difference is that we do not play music instruments. My family doesn't play music instruments, but Camila's family, they play music instruments. They play the piano, for example. Another difference is that my mom is not a teacher. My mom is not a teacher, but Camila's mom, she is a teacher. So my mom is not a teacher, and her mom is a teacher. So, as you can see here, we have the differences, right? How our families are different. And in the middle, I talk about the things that we do have in common, our similarities. And this is exactly what you're going to do. You're going to compare and contrast your family with Camila's family. Now, this is your second worksheet, the second part of your assessment. We're going to do this together. You don't have to do this alone, but basically, we're going to be filling out this worksheet, and you have 5 questions. Okay, we talk about alphabetical order, sequence of events, and some questions about the story. And parents send both worksheets to LMS in PDF format. And that's about it, you guys. Bye.